told me.
I told you.
God.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Express Coffee. Now, I hope you have a cup ready because we're about to dive into the Mandela Catalogue Presto, the latest and greatest installment of the hit series. Presto is a fantastic installment filled to the brim with all sorts of lore details and hidden gems and callbacks to different videos that I think is almost deserving of its own 20-minute breakdown, but in today's video I'm going to attempt to keep it a little bit tame and really just get into the overall meat of this video. So if you like what you see in here, don't forget to go and watch Presto and the entirety of the Mandela Catalogue if you haven't already for some reason, and get comfy and cozy because we're about to dive straight into the Mandela Catalogue Presto. We kick the episode off with a closing down sale at Mandela Tech. As we saw in Volume 4, local businesses aren't doing too well amidst the whole, alternate invasion. Within the advertisement for the closing down sale, we get clarity as to Dave's ownership of the only CRTV TV in Wisconsin. Namely that Dave has converted it to a sort of analog memorial or museum. We then witness Sarah giving Evelyn a run-through on how to hack local Mandela security footage, or as Sarah puts it, not hacking the security footage because they're insecure connections, as if that makes any difference. It seems Sarah has quite a lot of experience in this department, and it may be part of the reason of her connection with the Bythorn Paranormal Society landing her in hot water with the feds. We cut to the backseat POV of Thatcher's car, where a torn, totally ruined Adam sits in the back, grasping onto life, hardly able to breathe whatsoever after the whole, discovering he was an alternate and trying to take his own life thing. Interestingly for me, I must have missed this in Catalyst, it seems as though Thatcher is the one who found Adam at the end of Catalyst. I'll get into some deeper theories and what I think this means on the surface level in just a moment after we get through the rest of the content. We then witness a phone call between Sarah and Evelyn, wherein Evelyn recounts her experience with the preacher as we saw in Catalyst. The two get to talking about Adam and his disappearances, with Evelyn lamenting that she didn't listen to Amanda, a name that has popped up again and again. I think there's a lot of much needed exposition here. We have Evelyn really showing that she cares about Adam despite the horrible things that he said to her, and we have Sarah trying to be positive and assure Evelyn that everything is okay because she knows a lot more is going on than it meets the eye. Regardless, the call is quickly interrupted on Evelyn's end with the announcement that, why is this the scariest part of the Mandela Catalogue so far for me? The call is then replaced with what appears to be interior security footage of the Mandela County Police Department. The camera pans around for a moment before settling on a room wherein lies Thatcher and Adam. Now this is when Presto gets very complicated and the lore is contained within very muffled conversations, so bear with me while I try and analyze what I found from it, and just take it with a grain of salt because I may have missed something massive.
I wish there was something more I could do for you. I know you're in a lot of pain right now.
Never mind, since I recorded that last bit of the video, there have been subtitles added to the video so I can explain it in more depth. So as it turns out, Thatcher is the one that found Adam at the end of Catalyst. This is something I must have missed when I was watching Catalyst the 6 times I did, so this was quite shocking for me. Adam is initially resistant to Thatcher and says that he's just trying to scare him. Thatcher explains to Adam that he's not there to make him afraid, that he doesn't care about the warrant that we know the feds have on the Bythorn Paranormal Society investigators, but that he only seeks to help Adam, and in order to do that, he needs to know everything that happened. After this, Adam explains basically everything from meeting Sarah and founding the actual Bythorn Paranormal Society, meeting Jonah, whom he says and Jonah and Adam's investigation of the anonymous unnamed woman's house and the subsequent death of Jonah. Interestingly, Adam drops his guard almost immediately after Thatcher explains his true intent, and this is very distanced from the Adam we've seen in previous installments, especially in Volume 4, where he was quite quick to throw his friends in a rather precarious situation, as we see with his investigation with Sarah. Additionally, whilst he says he hated Jonah, he laments the situation and says that it's his fault what happened, being that he found Jonah's lifeless corpse and drove off, and everything that happened afterwards is a direct result of him. So too is the situation in general, where we saw Jonah was quite apprehensive and wanted to leave. Adam suggests that most of the investigation of the woman's house was a blur. He doesn't remember much, but he does remember that he talked to someone, that being the alternates, and when Thatcher inquires on who these people are, Adam suggests he can't tell him. He strongly believes, however,
I'm paying the price. I knew this would happen. He told me.
I told you.
God.
this is perhaps the most interesting and simultaneously disturbing dialogue we've ever gotten in the Mandela Catalogue. If it is to be examined at a surface level, this would mean that God is an actual physically palpable character and that Adam has had contact with God. If not, this is more of a metaphorical comment, of which I can't dissect exactly the meaning of, but is nonetheless a comment on his actions and the price he's paying for those actions, as he said, his kind of penance. That Adam is simply a cog in a higher plan. I find it particularly important to mention the fact that Adam kind of has a glitch out moment where his alternate side kind of comes to the surface, and he didn't seem hostile towards Thatcher here. He almost seemed to have it under control, which is odd given the alternates we've seen thus far in the series. This, I believe, kind of shows, it proves to us that Adam is not your usual alternate. He is something different entirely, somewhat like the intruder. He is special. On a separate note, with the whole idea of Thatcher finding Adam, I'm almost tempted to inquire on Evelyn's fate at the end of Volume 4, being that we saw a hand grab her and we don't know exactly what happened to her following that. We've seen her obviously earlier in Presto, but we do not know if her call with Sarah precedes or succeeds the Mandela Catalogue Volume 4. My theory is that after discovering the toddler stress assessment, Thatcher finds Evelyn and she explains to him, or airs her concerns regarding Adam. And obviously Thatcher is the one who investigated the Murray household, and the whole events were kind of centered on Thatcher. It is not unlikely to believe that after Dave ditched Thatcher, he kind of took it upon himself to become the hero in this situation, locate Adam, and try and get it all sorted out. Finally, there is an interesting little frame cutaway here between the conversation of with Adam and Thatcher of what appears to be an alternate, perhaps just a self-reflection of Adam, lurking in the corner. The final scene in Presto sees altered footage of the intro sequence with the text "Thatcher Davis dooms all." The camera then hastily cutting to a video of a TV with blurred images of the intruder and an unknown alternate, potentially the one we saw in Catalyst. The screen then crossfades to the analog television exhibit at Mandela Tech, with text appearing on screen reading, "You were so caught up in your own volition that you never noticed your world turning into a grey and twisted version of its former self," with a frowny face not dissimilar to the one we saw at the end of Catalyst appearing on screen. This all in reference to Thatcher using Dave to recover the tapes and ultimately aiding in Gabrielle's master plan, therein being a cog to the alternates. And that is my breakdown of the Mandela Catalogue Presto. Now I apologize if it wasn't as in-depth as I said, it's probably just a very shallow observation, but I nonetheless enjoyed the video, and I am very happy to be able to make these sort of breakdown/review segments on my favorite YouTube series of all time, one of my favorite things ever. But yes, I also apologize for the shoddy video editing and the weird audio mixing. I'm going to address it in future uploads. I've just got a lot on my plate at the moment, very behind in uni work, and just wanted to feel accomplished by getting this video out to you now, kind of breaking it up into little chunks. I do want to do further breakdowns of the Mandela Catalogue overall when Volume 5 comes out, so I'll definitely do that. I also want to do breakdowns of other series, particularly Somnium Dreamviewer, my favourite analog project ever, which does trump the Mandela Catalogue slightly for a number of reasons. And yeah, that has been my breakdown of the Mandela Catalogue Presto. Thank you so much for watching, hope you had a great time, and I will see you next time. Cheers.